It's going to be a running thing now.
Oh, you started talking as I pressed record as well. Yeah.
Sorry.
Hello. We can't just
Hi.
start an episode normally, can we?
Like I just said, it's going to be a running thing
It's
now.
always you as well.
I know.
I'm fine.
You made me laugh before we go on. See, it's your fault.
It's my fault. It's always my fault. Yeah. Welcome back to Bonnet Babble.
Bonnet Babble.
Yeah. We've just been debating about what episode this one would be. We think it's 16.
It is 16.
It is. She's adamant.
I'm adamant it's 16.
We shall see when I do all the editing. So this time we're back onto the personal saga. There is some political stuff coming up. Don't worry. If that's why you're here. And you're like, what is all this rubbish?
Well, I don't know. I've been told by a few people they prefer this stuff.
Oh, do they? Oh. Well, there you go.
They just prefer us chatting rubbish.
Well, we chat rubbish no matter what episode we're doing, to be fair. Always full of twaddle. So yeah, back in the personal saga, and now we're on part 8, which is juggling all the plates. So we've done, finding a decent job, we've done getting married, we've done firstborn, we've done secondborn, house, and all that rigmarole. So good, we've ticked off all the big milestones. So now what? What's next? Well, what I'd forgotten in my bid to adhere to societal norms was once I'd achieved all of these targets, I then had to live with it.
Yeah, because they're not just for Christmas.
No. I think survive maybe more of an apt term.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, still surviving.
Survive motherhood.
Yes. Do we get a gold star at the end? I feel like I need at least a gold star or a trophy. Yeah.
I want a big trophy.
A big one.
Yeah.
Yeah, engraved and everything.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it's deserved.
Kids need to know this.
They do.
Yeah. Because it's going to be them that's going to
Absolutely,
do it.
yeah. So yeah, after having the second sprog, my delightful daughter, our finances continued to descend into utter chaos. I was yet again suffering the joys of statutory maternity pay, whilst saddled with 2 mortgages, and a lifestyle that really wasn't sustainable with having 2 children and all that debt. And I knew that we were in trouble. We'd kind of ignored it for a little while. Like, it'll be fine.
How was you doing 2 mortgages again?
Because we ran out of money, because Mother Dearest had expensive taste. And then we found all the problems with the house, with the wiring and the pipes and the boiler, and had to redo it all. So we ended up having to get a second mortgage out to finish the build. Yeah. So I knew we weren't really being clever with money. So I did a delightful spreadsheet. And crunched the numbers.
Not your favourite thing at all.
No, I hate numbers.
I know.
Yeah. I don't mind doing a income and expenditure. That's not too bad. It's when it's a really big spreadsheet where I'm like, I know. When I'm doing it, it's fine. It's when somebody else has done it and I have to then make sense of it. That's when I have a problem.
I get my eldest son, who claims that he's not very good at maths, but he is. But I tell him, right, here's my ingoings, here's my outgoings. They're not all, per month or 30-day calendar,
God.
Whatever. But have fun with that.
Make it work.
Now tell me how much I have left.
Yeah.
And I give it to him to do, and he does it all, and then turns around to me and says, "Mum, you can't spend anything else, all right?
You're done.
You need to dwindle some of the outgoings down.
Stop with all your hobbies."
Yeah.
Yeah. Mine is always when I do an income and expenditure, I realise that I've done free trials on all sorts of gubbins and then forgotten to cancel it. Once I had, I kid you not, I had YouTube Premium because I was going through a phase of watching something about Ark Survival. One of the YouTubers on that, and I was getting annoyed with all the adverts. So I'd subscribed to that. I had advert free on 4 on demand or whatever it's called now because I'd gone through another phase of watching something on 4OD. I can't remember what it was, but the adverts were annoying me. I can't do adverts, hate it.
Yeah, I pay for the Prime advert free.
Yeah. And then when we've been setting up Be in My Bonnet and Bonnet Babble, I've needed to use a load of AI tools for creating pictures. You know, like when I write a blog post, I've got a vision in my brain of the picture that goes with the title. So
I've seen you trying to pick one.
Yeah. And I want it in a certain colour scheme, so it's all like cohesive and all that sort of stuff. And I've got Google Workspace because I had to have a professional email to defeat some Facebook. Honestly, Facebook business is painful.
It's the bane of your life.
It is the bane of my life, and it's always going wrong. And then I don't know if I need to be in the portfolio or in the business or in the actual page or. And then you've got the advertising bit that's all separate.
They haven't just got a category for blog.
No, they haven't.
Because
but the issue has been the advertising. Because I talk quite a lot about politics, I'm not allowed to advertise anything that's political unless I have a specific registration to do so. So I had to jump through
hoops.
Ding, ding, ding for the win. Yeah. I had to jump through all these bloody hoops to get it all done. And then it was trying to connect it all up between portfolio, business manager, ads, and the Facebook page. It hurt my brain. I had like 20 tabs open because for some reason when you're in the portfolio, whenever you click on something, it opens it into a new tab. So I was like, well, I don't know, where am I? What is going on here? Anyway, side tangent. Wow.
The last time that my husband did the ingoings, outgoings and things like that, it was just like, you're supposed to have this amount. At the end of it, I was like, but I don't know what to do with it.
I don't know. Spend it on crap.
Yeah,
go to Starbucks. Like we did this morning.
That's a really rare treat.
It is a rare treat, yes. It's better than when we used to go to the local shop for a posh coffee every morning and some pastries after dropping the kids into school, and that was like a good £5 a day. More than. Each, yeah. It was, yeah.
Yeah.
So just not doing that anymore because we can't have caffeinated coffee and they don't do decaf, which is probably a good thing because it's saved us a fortune.
It really has.
Anyway. So yeah, the hideous spreadsheet that I'd created really demonstrated the true extent of our impending doom financially. So I realised that not only would we need to deploy some form of debt relief, but that I'd need to go back to work ASAP. So my daughter was only 4 months old. We couldn't afford another load of full-time nursery fees at £850 a bloody month, right? And my firstborn wasn't old enough for free childcare hours either. So we were up the creek without a paddle. Actually, I went down a rabbit hole the other day. Sorry, really quick. I'm going to be super fast. So when my kids were little, if you earn over a certain threshold, you couldn't get free childcare hours, which makes no sense. Whereas now, you have to earn over a certain threshold.
Oh, they've changed it?
They have changed it, but here's the kicker, okay? To qualify, you have to earn, I think it's the equivalent of something like 16 hours on minimum wage.
Right.
Okay? But they will only fund 15 hours worth of childcare. So that doesn't account for any commuting or any other overtime or if you're working full-time or anything like that. So yes, whilst they fund 15 hours, but you still have to pay through the nose for the rest of it.
Oh.
So it's not. They're marketing it is, oh, it's so much better.
No.
But it's really not that much better.
Yeah, because I remember when the boys were tiny, and I was paying for a childminder.
Yeah.
Because I wanted them to have a home away from home rather than nursery setting.
Yeah, setting.
But yeah, I couldn't get the hours funded because I didn't work.
No.
But my husband did.
Yeah.
And he earned too much, even though it wasn't actually that big of an amount at that point.
Exactly. So they have changed it, but in my mind, they haven't changed it enough.
No.
It needs to be, if they want to kickstart the economy, a little bit political now. See? I told you we get there. If they want to kickstart the economy, it needs to be worthwhile working when your children are small. Yeah. I.e., you're not going to end up being out of pocket by having kids and having a career.
Yeah.
And it's not that way at all. At all.
No, it's not. They don't encourage mothers to go back to work very well.
No. They want us to have it all, but they won't help us get there.
No.
Like, okay, thanks. Anyway, so yeah, we were reeling in all the favours that we could. Mother-in-law and mother dearest agreed to take over the childcare for both kids at a vastly reduced cost. And they would like alternate it, which was a blessing and a curse in some ways. Mother-in-law, no bother at all. My mother did like to lord it over me.
Of course.
Whenever we had a falling out, she would withdraw childcare and affect my job. Really helpful.
See, my mum she couldn't help out as much as she wanted.
No.
Because she was working big hours herself.
Yeah, as well, yeah. But keep in mind,
they still did everything they possibly could, and they did it free of charge.
She didn't have a job then. She was living pretty much rent-free. She only contributed £100 a month to the running of that house. We paid for everything else. Everything. She treated it as this, big favour she was doing us. And I was just like...
I couldn't have got by without my stepdad. He massively took over the childcare.
But it goes back to what I said about her the other day. It's like, don't offer and say yes to doing me a favour or helping, and then...
But I don't see it as a favour if she's getting paid for it.
Well, no, I'm that. Yeah. Anyway, so I also began to search for a job with more lofty prospects. And my wonderful father, bless his soul, waded in with a rather large chunk of cash to dig us out of the immediate hole that we were in. And the rest of it went on to a debt management plan.
Yeah.
Now, I loved where I was working at the time, that company where it was ethics and compliance, which sounds dull as dishwater.
It really does.
I know, but I was the project manager of many hats because it was a small business. I did pre-sales, I did training, I did all the technical stuff.
So it was something different each day.
Every day was different, yeah. And, I saw the customers, the projects through from the point where, they were trying to sell it all the way through to supporting them after it had been implemented, which was quite cool. Because then it was all in my control, see? Yeah.
Which you really like.
Yeah, plays to my strengths, that. Yeah, but there was no...
Couldn't control my childbirth, but I control this.
This I can do, yeah. But the problem was I'd hit the ceiling of progression there. There was nowhere else really to go unless a director left, and I really wasn't director material. Probably still not director material, to be honest. Too crazy. So I needed to go somewhere else. So after months of vetting forms, like seriously, if you want to work in the defence sector, oh my good lord, I had forms and questions coming out of my eyeballs. They really didn't like the fact that I was on a debt management plan. They wanted to know the ins and outs of that. Jesus Christ.
Because it's their business.
Yeah. And signing away the rights to my firstborn, essentially. I did. I made the leap into the defence sector.
They run Rumpelstiltskin.
Yeah. Maybe. So the commute itself was far from ideal. I lived, I think it was about 40 miles. Okay, which on the face of it, you'd think, not that bad.
No, that's quite a bit.
With the motorway and the traffic in rush hour, it was horrendous. So I used to leave at 6 a.m. to beat the traffic, and it would only take me about an hour to get into work at 6. If I left any later, it would take me nearly 2.5. It was ridiculous.
It's crazy.
And then I'd be lucky to be home for 6 p.m. But the bonus was they had, flexi time. So usually I'd work ridiculous hours Monday to Thursday, and then Friday I could either not work at all or just go in until lunch and then bugger off, which was nice. Unless some idiot had...
It's still Friday traffic.
It is. Unless some idiot had booked an afternoon meeting on a Friday, which, I did curse a few people out for doing that. And they soon learned not to do it. So I don't work Friday afternoons. Go away. I've done my hours. Sod off. So yeah, my husband was working similar, if not more hours. We were both at that middle management stage where they like to take their pound of flesh for a mediocre salary. And he was being subjected to far more business travel than I was. Thankfully, if I had to go anywhere, it was local in that job, whereas the job I had before, it was always foreign travel.
Yeah. Well, you had the kids to deal with and stuff, so...
So we kind of managed to make it work in the end. It was stressful. And I remember one morning, flustered and rushing to drop the kids off, I reversed straight into my husband's brand new BMW 5 Series.
We've spoke about that.
We have. We've already talked about it. I think this was in episode 1 we actually went on to this.
Yeah.
We talked about it too early. That would have been a really funny story for this one, but you already know. And if you don't, go and watch the very first episode because it's funny.
It's hilarious.
Yeah. So I reversed into it as he watched in abject horror from the front door. And in my defence, it was a cold morning. I had the blowers on and the kids were squabbling, and despite knowing his car was behind mine, my brain didn't register that fact or my reversing sensors blaring
Why
at
is
me.
this in the first episode?
I don't know. I think we were just waffling.
Oh. Yeah, sounds about right.
We didn't really get anywhere on the first episode. We hadn't started it with any intention of doing anything productive. We just went off on all these tangents.
But that was fun.
It was fun. Yeah. And then instead of doing things like in a date order on the blog, we went straight into the Pip thing. And did...
That's true. It's like, which one?
Let's do the really big one. And want to throw ourselves off a cliff at the end. Yeah, it was great. So we were just about keeping up with the raging tempest of the rapids that we'd set our little family canoe on. And then we lost a paddle. Okay? My husband lost his job. Right? Now, thankfully at the time, the mild silver lining, the really tiny one, was I was working on a very, very high profile and big project. And that had the scope for plenty of overtime. And I'm always my best in a crisis.
Yes.
And then I die quietly after I've sorted the crisis. And this turn of events really qualified as a crisis. So I ended up working 70 hours a week, at least, over weekends, at home. I'd leave the house at 5, I'd get home gone 9. If I was home any earlier, the laptop would go straight on, so I was carrying on working. And, I convinced myself I could do this. I could keep the roof over our heads. I was earning both of our salaries to pay all the bills and all the debt, and Jesus Christ, yeah. And I could do it until my husband found something. I could do this. Save the family. Yeah. Also while being a mother and managing a household.
You didn't even see them half the time.
I didn't. No.
That must have been quite.
And then the weekends
difficult
rolled around, and then I felt like I needed to do all this stuff with them, and I was absolutely knackered.
Yeah.
It's no wonder I lost the plot.
Mm-hmm.
It really isn't. So yeah, thankfully my husband found something decent within about 4 months. But unfortunately, by that point, and me bending over backwards to take all of these hours, I'd earned a reputation at work for being the person that you chucked onto a broken and troublesome project and I would fix it.
Well, you were the yes man.
Yes, and it's true. I do. I like a challenge. I love getting into the nitty gritty of a problem, like I did with
fixing
the
things. People just say no, it's beyond fixing.
It's too hard. I'm like, is it though? You just don't have the vision.
Can I do it?
Yeah.
Yes, I can.
Yeah,
it's like the builder.
Yeah.
But with projects.
Exactly, yeah. Well, it's like with the Pip Green paper. I stumbled across that and I was like, well, I have to do something about this, aren't I?
Let's take this apart.
Yeah. Yeah. Not read it properly, though. And
I wish we had hands on this,
I know. It'd be so much better, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, yes. We may or may not. I published it on a story on some of our socials. We might be getting some new avatars. So these are free... Well, they're free ones that I found knee-deep in Japanese websites. And I can't remember who they're designed by. Yeah, I need to find it and give them credit because you're supposed to. It said on the download, you must credit us, and I've not been doing it. Sorry. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I don't know about this.
Yeah, but in my obsession, whenever I start anything new, I was like, well, I don't want to use standard
fine
ones.
print.
Yeah, I don't want to use standard ones. So I've found somebody in the deepest darks of Etsy that I'm going to get to do new ones for me and Evie.
Yay!
Yeah. And they'll be all in keeping and on theme and stuff.
But will we have hands?
Well, maybe. I'm not sure. I know there's extra to have hand toggles. So, for example, I can press, we can be love hearts! And then, we can be angry. That's how we do angry faces. And then, I don't know what 3 does. We're embarrassed. Yeah. And there's more as well, but I got rid of some of them because, my character got out clipboard and crap, and then I could never figure out how to put it away. And it annoyed me.
The clipboard is very apt.
It is quite. I should, when I start doing something political, I should go, well then. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I should put it back on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, where was I? Yeah, so I'd earned that reputation, and I got chucked on a new project that was ruined.
Oh, just one more thing.
Yes.
The new avatars, the
Yes.
little sketches, the beginning sketches can be found on the Facebook page.
Yes. They're so pretty. We look so awesome. And they've got wings and antenna, and it's all in keeping with the theme. It's awesome.
And not so skimpy clothes.
No, yeah, you won't be booby.
No.
Well, less booby. They'll be covered up. Yes.
Okay, carry on.
More appropriate. Yeah. So yeah, the pace didn't let up. I was wearing all the hats. I had all the hats, and I was, spinning all the plates.
Burning the candle at both ends.
Absolutely. And I was pushing myself harder and further to be this person that could do and achieve anything. I was accepting the management courses, I was taking on more project management qualifications, and then work started talking, about me starting a master's degree. Jesus Christ. That would have been terrible if I'd said yes to that. Oh
You said no?
No, I didn't. I sort of put them off.
Ah, okay.
Because I'm thinking they already had me on this. It was like a personal development. You're one of the top 10% performers in the business.
Wow.
So I had this. It was like a leadership development course thing. So I was already doing that, and they were putting me through my APMP, which for people who don't know is a project management certification thing. And I was doing these ridiculous, horrible projects, and I'm thinking, I've got 2 kids at home who I hardly ever bloody see. I can't do a master's degree on top of everything else.
No.
So I sort of just...
You are only human.
Yeah, apparently. Less than now, I feel. Half a human. You and I... No, quarter. You and I together make half.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, just. On a good day.
Yeah.
So anyway, in 2017, I got a performance bonus at work. Thank you very much. Things between my husband and I had been going downhill for quite a while. We were just kind of existing together. I think I was either this project manager or I was mum, and I'd lost, or I was wife, and I'd lost me. I mean,
it happens so often to a lot of people.
I didn't know who I was anymore, and I was just going through the motions. So instead of plunging that bonus, as I sensibly should have done, into our bottomless mountain of debt, I thought, sod it. And I booked for us to go on holiday for 2 weeks without the kids in Thailand.
Nice.
Yeah. And we'd never really had a proper honeymoon, so in my mind I was like, well, it can just be our honeymoon 7 years later. Be fine.
Well...
Yeah.
If you can't treat yourself now and then and properly live, then what's the point?
I mean, yeah.
So
I could have been more sensible, but...
Yes, but this is very justified, I feel.
Sensible's boring as well, sometimes.
That's true.
Yeah. And it was amazing to get away from it all. There was no one relying on me. There was no responsibilities, no stress. And I think I finally relaxed for the first time in years, like maybe 10 years or more. And the hotel was perfect. It was beautiful. It was a little weird in ways, but they served buckets of pina coladas, which is my holiday tipple. So I was a happy camper.
I can't drink too many of them. They end up getting sickly.
No, I love it. I never ever drink them any other time, and I can literally keep drinking. They're amazing. That's when I know I'm in my happy place, is when I can have pina coladas.
I always get on a first name basis with the barman.
That's why I need to do a holiday episode, because of when my partner and I went to Mexico. The barmen there were amazing.
Yeah.
And I have a picture of them somewhere as well. They taught me, no, we're going off on tangents, no. I'm going to write about that. Just shush.
Okay.
So when I say the hotel was a bit odd, I mean that I was trying to open a bottle of something, of drink, and I asked my husband if we had a bottle opener anywhere in the room, and he said, yeah, there's one next to the loo in the bathroom.
Obviously.
I mean, where else would you put a bottle opener? Why would it need to be in the bathroom, is what I thought. Next to the loo, of all places.
What, next to, like, the toilet
Literally
roll?
next to the loo roll, yeah.
I honestly don't know.
Very strange. Maybe I'm missing some Thai trick somewhere. I don't know.
I don't know either. That is a really odd place. What if somebody's already on the loo and you need to bottle it? Open a bottle. What if somebody has been there for quite some time and left a really nasty smell, and you don't want to go in there and open a drink?
No, I don't want to go and open a drink. No, because then it's going to get contaminated with fumes.
Particles.
Yeah, nasty. Anyway, and it was also out there. It was so humid. Humid. Like, I could go for a little swim, and you know, it was like, stop clicking.
Sorry,
You're so loud.
Didn't mean to.
Shh. Yeah, so I could go for a swim, and considering it's like 32 degrees, so it's warm, I'd get out of the pool and go and lay back down on my sun lounger thingamabob, and I wouldn't dry, where it was so humid.
You go from pool water to
just
seawater, whatever you went in.
Pool
water to sweat.
Yes. Yeah.
Nice.
But you couldn't. I think I'd be just as damp before I got into the pool as I was when I got out of it. It was ridiculous. So yeah, and another thing that happened while we were away was we were walking back to our hotel room. When my husband abruptly said behind me, he went, "Stop! Don't move!" And I'm like, what? Now, I'm terrified of spiders.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
I want to see what the AI generator makes of that word.
Yeah.
Spooders.
Yeah. See what it says. We'll leave the original in just for some extra giggles. And I was there like, oh my God, a creature's on me. Oh my God, it's going to kill me. I'm going to die. What if it's a massive poisonous thing and it bites me? And that's it. My brain just wouldn't shut up. Okay. So it felt like I was stood there for a good 5 minutes, and he's fanning around with the back of my hair, right? And then all of a sudden he pulls a hair out and goes, "You've had a grey hair, I got it, don't worry." And he's lucky I didn't shove him off a balcony, genuinely. Because he didn't tell me why I'm there going, is it a spider, is it? And he didn't say a bloody word. Git. So...
probably didn't, but just to
be annoying. Yeah. I remember sunbathing in Portugal not long after we'd had my daughter, and I remember saying to him, you know, I feel a bit insecure because I was much bigger than I am usually. And he turned around to me and looked me up and down and went, "Well, at least you're getting more sun for your money." I know. Such an ass.
Okay, that's just as bad as one of the things that my husband has said to me.
I mean, he said it tongue in cheek like it was meant to be a joke, but he's
Very
lucky
dry.
I didn't try and punch him in the face again.
Yeah, no, I was heavily pregnant with my daughter and getting changed, ready for bed, like just taking off clothes. And my husband turned around and said, "Do you mind? The blind is wide open. It's bad enough I have to look at you." It's like heavily pregnant.
Did you throw something at him?
No, but he
You
was in the
should have
doghouse for a while.
Oh, quite right.
Yeah, and I've still not let him live it down. He
Quite
knows
right.
it.
Yeah.
Nearly 5 years later.
Yeah, quite. My ex-husband, he was a git. I remember he used to go out for these like lads nights, like once a month with his old school friends, and they were a funny bunch. Okay, there's a really funny drunken story in there somewhere that I'll have to write and tell everybody about. All I'm going to say is bin bags and sneaking away in the middle of the night. It was, yeah.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
Like trash dingers.
You've not told me this time.
That's funny. Anyway, and I remember going to pick him up once from one of these drunken nights, and it was absolutely raining cats and dogs, and he thought it would be hilarious if he ran out the house and got in the boot, right? And I'm
Why?
Because he's 11.
Okay.
Now I'm sat there in the front of the car. It's like 2 a.m. I'm tired and grumpy anyway, and it's raining a lot, and I'm like not in the mood. So I got out the car, really stroppy, in the rain, opened it. I was like, "Get out!" And he was literally just led there, wetting himself like he was the most hilarious person in the world. And I could see his mates inside cackling away as well. And, "Get in the front of the car." Oh, he was a nightmare when he was drunk. He really was. It was so funny. Anyway, so the purposes of this getaway to Thailand, in my mind, was to see if my husband and I could mend our fences, maybe rekindle something. But by the end of that trip, as lovely as it had been, I came to the realisation that I don't think I loved him anymore. You know, we'd been through too much. We were... Cat, Jesus Christ. Don't know if you guys heard that, but he just shook like a dog and made an absolute racket. Dude. Yeah, so I'd kind of like emotionally divorced him already. And I couldn't see a way back from that. So there's lots of things that I won't discuss about our relationship. As anonymous as, you know, I'm trying to be, it's clear to anyone who knows me that I'm the person behind all of this. And it wouldn't be fair to me to air all of our dirty laundry. We may now be divorced, but in comparison to most co-parenting relationships that I know of, I couldn't ask for better.
I've never seen better.
Yeah. So I'm not going to upset him by telling all the
I
the
think
deets.
you two work
Yeah.
perfectly.
Yeah.
It's how it should be.
Yeah. So when we got home from our holiday, the kids came home. I was back at work. The realisation that my marriage was failing and the sheer scale of what I'd been taking on and subjecting myself to smacked me square in the face.
Ouch.
Yeah. And
I keep thinking it's like hammering it down with rain.
No,
it's not. It's the
him.
cat on the bag or box or
I
whatever.
don't know what's wrong with it. Scratching and scratching it. What have you done to your tail as well? It looks like you dipped in water. You've been dribbling all over that box.
All over it.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hello, kitty. Anyway, sorry. Pause cat.
Meow.
Yeah, so instead of trying to manage that mental overwhelm, I had a breakdown instead. And one that I've never fully recovered from. I think I'm 6 years later now. And it was almost like all the masks and the hats that I'd been wearing, once I let that slip, that was it. The person I'd so carefully crafted over the last many years was gone.
No.
So yeah. And to be honest, I don't think that's a bad thing because I was doing far too much. It wasn't healthy.
You were bound to break at some point.
Yeah.
No one can carry on like that.
No. It's crackers.
Yeah.
Mm. So yeah, and that is it for part 8. So yeah, and we actually have to go at some point soon and be grown-ups and collect our feral children. And it looks like it's going to rain.
I know.
Or at least you're here today and my brolly's in your car.
Yeah, that's true.
Yay. Yeah. So yes.
Stay sane.
Stay sane. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Bye.